Hello students, welcome back to my class. Today I am going to teach class 7th. The subject is English and the sub-subject is grammar. In grammar, today I will teach you punctuations. So, today I am going to teach you English grammar, and in English grammar, the topic that I have taken today to teach you is punctuations. So, this is chapter number 15 in your book. This is chapter 15 in your book. First of all, let us see what is punctuation. Punctuation is a set of marks used in writing to clarify the meaning of a sentence or sentences. Punctuation is a set of marks used in writing to clarify the meaning of the sentence or sentences. While we are speaking, we use pauses and intonation to show the punctuations. While speaking, we use pauses and intonation. But when we are going to write something, we use the punctuation marks. We use the punctuation marks to clarify the meaning of our sentences. In writing, we use the punctuation to show the pauses and emphasis in the sentence. So, these are the punctuation marks. So, this is called the punctuation. Now, let us see the types of punctuations. There are several types of punctuations, but mainly we are going to discuss about 7 types of punctuation marks. There are mainly 7 types of punctuation marks. Number 1, we can say full stop, and this is the symbol of full stop. Number 2, comma, this is the symbol of comma. Number 3, semicolon, semicolon, this is the symbol of semicolon. Then we can say colon, this is the symbol of colon. Then we can say question mark, question mark, and this is the symbol of question mark. Then we can say exclamation mark, we can say exclamation mark, and this is the symbol of exclamation mark, and one more quotation marks, quotation marks are inverted commas, inverted commas. So, this is quotation mark or inverted commas. So, in this chapter we will study about full stop, about comma, about semicolon, about colon, question marks, exclamation marks, quotation marks are inverted commas. So, and along with these we will also study about capital letters. So, we will study these punctuation marks in this chapter. So, let us start from the first one, that is full stop. So, first of all, let us see the full stop. We use the full stop at the end of assertive and imperative sentences. We use the full stop at the end of assertive and imperative sentences. For example, we can say he reads, full stop. At the end of assertive sentence, we use full stop. And we also use the full stop in imperative sentences, at the end of imperative sentences. For example, open the door. So we use full stop at the end of assertive and imperative sentence. We also use the second one, you can see, we also use the full stop for abbreviation. If we are going to use the abbreviation, you can see the short form of any word. If we are going to use the abbreviation, at that time we also use the full stop. For example, PM, it is used for post meridian. The short form of PM, the short form of post meridian is PM. We use AM and PM. UK, it is used for United Kingdom. This is the abbreviation. So for abbreviation we use full stop. And we also use full stop when we are going to write the address of any email or any, you can say, site. If we are going to write we use a full stop in website and email addresses. If we are going to write the address of email, address of any website, at that time we use the full stop. For example, you can see here www dot means full stop. It is also called dot. So spsca dot in. Dot means full stop. So this is the address of your school website, and if we are going to write the address of any website, we use the full stop. So these are the uses of full stop. Now let us see the next one. Now let us see the second one. The second one is comma. There are several uses of commas. For full stop we have only 2, 3, 4 uses. You have only a little usage, but for comma we use commas at different places. That's why we will study 8-9 points about comma. So the first point is to separate items in a series or list. If we are going to separate the items from a series or a list, we use comma. We use comma when we are going to use the same kind of, you can say, parts of speech too. If we are going to use the same parts of speech as a list, as a series, then we also use comma. For example, we can see here they have been to Patna, comma, Ranchi, comma, Kolkata and Delhi. In the end we use and. We add the last part of the list with and. And the rest of the list will be separated with comma. So we use comma for a series or a list. Now come to the next one, the second one. The second one is to mark of noun in direct address. To mark of noun, if we want to mark of noun in direct address, if we are going to address someone, then we use comma. For example, Arun, listen. Arun, listen me. For example, here it is given, Manish, here is your book. If we are going to address somebody, then we use the comma to separate that address with the rest of the, you can say, sentence. For example, Manish, here is your book. Manish, here is your book. So if we are going to mark of noun in direct address, we use comma. Now come to the third one, before and after a phrase in apposition. If we are going to use the phrase in apposition, we use comma before and after the phrase in apposition. Phrase in apposition means the phrase that is used to describe the subject of that sentence. For example, here it is given Mr. Shukla, my teacher. My teacher is the phrase in apposition. My teacher is going to describe Mr. Shukla. My teacher is going to describe Mr. Shukla, that's why this is the phrase in apposition. So we use comma before and after the phrase in apposition. We use before and after a phrase in apposition. We use comma before and after a phrase in apposition. So here Mr. Shukla, comma, my teacher, comma, is retiring next month. My teacher is the phrase in apposition. My teacher is used for Mr. Shukla. Mr. Shukla is my teacher. So both here Mr. Shukla and my teacher both are the same. Now come to the next one, that is the fourth one. The fourth one is to separate items in dates and places. If we want to separate, if we are going to write the dates and places, we separate the items in date and places with the help of commas. For example, here it is August 10, 2018. We are going to separate the month, day and month with year. Second one, Ramnagar, New Delhi. Ramnagar is a place in New Delhi. We are going to separate the place also with comma. Ramnagar is a place in New Delhi. So Ramnagar, New Delhi. It tells us that Ramnagar is in New Delhi. Now come to the next one, fifth one, that is after the salutation and the complimentary clause. You have studied about letters, and in letters you have studied about the salutation. We use the salutation and complimentary clause. Wherever we use salutation, we use comma. Whenever we use complimentary clause, we use comma. We use comma with salutation and complimentary clause. For example, we can see here dear friend, comma. Dear friend, comma. Then we will start writing the body of the letter. And yours truly. This is complimentary clause. When we ended writing the letter or application or any writing of these kinds, we use yours truly. In the end, after writing the body, we use yours truly, and after writing complimentary clause, we use comma. Now let us see the next one. Now see the number 6. Number 6 is to separate a reported speech from the rest of the sentence. If there is reported speech, we separate that reported speech with the help of comma with the rest of the sentence. And you have studied this in narration. Indirect and indirect speech are reported speech. For example, he said comma, inverted comma, will you help me? We will separate the reported speech with the rest of the sentence. Okay, so we separate the reported speech with the rest of the sentence with the help of comma. Now come to the next one. The 7th one is to separate a question tag from a statement. If there is a question tag in a statement, we separate the question tag with the help of a comma. Perhaps you have studied about question tag. So here see, he is not laborious. If we want to use question tag, we will use comma. He is not laborious, comma, is he? He is not laborious, is he? If we are going to use the question tag, at that time we use the comma. Before question tag, we use the comma to separate rest of the sentence. Now come to the next one, the 8th one, to separate certain words or phrases like however, finally, of course, in fact, etc. We separate these kinds of words or phrases, for example, however, finally, of course, in fact, with the help of comma. For example, if you are going to separate however, if however is going to be used as initially, we will use one comma. But if it is going to be used medievally, in middle of the sentence, we separate however with two commas. We will use the comma before and after however. So we separate the words and phrases like however, finally, of course with the help of comma. For example, of course, comma, it is false. Of course, we take a simple pause, we take a short pause, that's why we use the comma. Of course, comma, it is false. Now come to the last one. To set off clauses where a pause is needed in reading. When we are going to read, if there is a pause needed, at that time we use the comma. When we are not going to use the conjunction, we are not going to use the conjunction to join two sentences, two clauses, at that time we use the comma. And this is usually the case if an adverb clause comes first in a sentence. If in that sentence adverb clause comes first, at that time this kind of situation created. So when there are two clauses and we take a rest, we need a pause in reading, at that time we use the comma. For example, if it rains, comma, we will not play cricket. If it rains, we take a short pause. If it rains, we will not go to play, we will not play cricket. So if we are going to separate the clause, then at that time if there isn't conjunction, at that time we use the comma. And this is usually the case if an adverb clause comes first in a sentence. If the adverb clause comes first in a sentence, at that time these kinds of things happen. So this is all about commas. Now let us see the next. The next one is semicolon. In semicolon, for example, let us see the first one. The first one, a semicolon is used to join two independent clauses not connected by conjunction. If there are two independent clauses and those clauses are not linked, not joined by conjunctions, at that time we use the semicolon. We take more pause than comma in semicolon. In full stop we take long pause, in comma we take only a short pause, and in semicolon we take a little bit more pause than comma. So if a semicolon is used to join two independent clauses, if there are two independent clauses and those clauses are not connected by the conjunction, then we use the semicolon. If there is conjunction, there is not the need of semicolon. If there isn't conjunction, at that time we use the semicolon. For example, we can go to the museum to do some research. We can use the conjunction and, but if we are not going to use the conjunction, we use semicolon. So we can go to the museum to do some research, then we will take a pause, and then Mondays are pretty quiet there. There are two independent clauses. This clause is also independent, this clause is also independent. They are not dependent on any of them. They are not dependent, but they are independent. So we can separate them with the help of semicolon. If there is already a conjunction, then we will not use the semicolon. If there isn't conjunction, at that time we use the semicolon to separate these independent clauses. Now come to the next one, the second one. A semicolon is used when a conjunctive adverb or transitional phrase links two independent clauses. If there are conjunctive adverbs or transitional phrases, at that time we use the two independent clauses or links two independent clauses, and these adverbs, conjunctive adverbs and transitional phrases are going to link two independent clauses. At that time we use the semicolons. For example, there may be the conjunctive adverbs or transitional phrases like moreover, nevertheless, however, therefore, etc. If these kinds of adverb, conjunctive adverbs or transitional phrases in a sentence, then at that time we use the semicolon. For example, we can see here, I am not all that fond of the colors of tiger lilies, semicolon. This is one clause. To separate one clause, moreover, this is adjective adverbs, moreover, they don't smell good. Moreover, comma, they don't smell good. So here is one independent clause, I am not all that fond of the colors of tiger lilies, one independent clause. This the next one, it is used, it is links with the help of adjective adverbs, conjunctive adverbs, moreover, while we use, although we use the semicolon to separate these two independent clauses with each other. So moreover, comma, they don't smell good. Now come to the last one of this stop of semicolon. A semicolon is used to separate clauses, particularly if the clause have internal commas. If there are, we use the semicolon to separate clauses. If there are different clauses, if there are many clauses in a sentence and they have internal commas and those clauses have internal commas, at that time we will not separate those clauses with the help of comma but with the help of semicolon, because they have already internal commas. उनमें अगर पहले से ही कामा यूज़ किया गया है हर एक क्लास में, तो उन क्लासेस को अलग करने के लिए हम सेमीकोलन का यूज़ करेंगे, क्योंकि कामा ऑलरेडी यूज़ हो चुका है. सो फॉर एग्जांपल, फॉर दिस फ्लाइट कामा ग्रुप ए चेक्स इन विद बी, दिस इज वन क्लास and here is already a comma, that's why we will not use here comma but semicolon, because here is already a comma, here is already an internal comma. Semicolon, C and D checks in with E, semicolon, this is another, you can say clause, and F checks in with G, this is another clause. So we will separate these clauses with the help of semicolon. If here will not be internal comma, at that time we can separate this clause with the help of comma too. But if there is already, if there are already commas in internal clauses, at that time we use the semicolon to separate those clauses. Now let us see the next one, colon. Number one, a colon is used to set off dialogues for a play or other script. If there is a play or there is any other script in the form of a dialogue, at that time we use the colon to show the different characters. For example, here is a principal and the principal is going to ask, so here is the dialogue of principal, that's why we write principal colon. Principal says, Kamla, why were you late this morning? Kamla, principal is inquiring to Kamla, why was she late? At that time Kamla is going to answer, here is the dialogue of Kamla now. So Kamla says, Kamla, colon, the power went off, comma, so I slept in. So if there is conversation in dialogue form, at that time we use the colon to separate different characters, to show different characters. Now come to the next one. The next one is, a colon is used to separate a title from a subtitle. If there is a title and the title also has its subtitle, at that time we separate the title from its subtitle with the help of colon. For example, here is Roots. Roots is the title, main title, and here are also subtitles of this Roots. So we will separate this subtitle with the help of colon. Roots, colon, the saga of an American family. The saga of an American family is the subtitle of this book. So we separate the title with subtitle with the help of colon. Now come to the next one. A colon is used to introduce contrasting statements. If there are contrasting statements, at that time we use the colon to separate those contrasting statements. एक दूसरे के अगर कंट्रास्टिंग स्टेटमेंट्स हैं, स्टेटमेंट्स एक दूसरे के कंट्रास्ट में है, उस समय हम कॉलन का यूज़ करते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, इट वाज यूजलेस टू ट्राई प्लीजिंग हिम, कॉलन, व्हाई, ही क्रिटिसाइज्ड एवरीथिंग. सो हियर इज अनदर टाइप ऑफ sentence and it is another type of sentence. So the sentences are in contrasting form. That's why we will separate these sentences with the help of colon. Now come to the next one, question marks. I am going to tell you only one thing that is important in question mark. We use the question mark at the end of interrogative sentences. If there is any interrogative sentence, at the end of that interrogative sentence we use the question mark. For example, we can say, why, what are you doing, question mark. If there is any interrogative sentence, at the end of that interrogative sentence we will use the question mark. Now let us see the exclamation mark. An exclamation mark is used at the end of a sentence to express exclamation. An exclamation mark is used at the end of a sentence to express an exclamation. Or you can say that an exclamation mark is used in exclamatory sentence. If there is an exclamatory sentence, we use the mark of exclamation, we use the exclamation mark in that sentence. For example, what a beautiful pen you have. This is exclamatory sentence, so we will mark exclamation mark. We will put here exclamation mark. Now come to the next one, quotation marks. There are different types of uses of quotation marks, but one is most famous, that is the direct speech, direct dialogue. For example, here is quotation marks are used to set off a direct quotation. If there is a direct quotation, we use the quotation mark. Quotation mark is also called the inverted comma. So we use a quotation mark for direct quotation. For example, Chandan said, comma, we will write the direct quotation of the person, we will write the direct speech, we will write the reported speech in quotation mark. I will win the match, we will put it in quotation mark. Now come to the next one. The second one is quotation marks are used to set off titles of poems, articles, book chapters or essays that are part of a longer work. We also put the names of, we also put the titles of the poems, articles, book chapters in quotation marks. For example, in lesson 2, comma, you have read the poem. Now we are going to quote the poem, we are going to write the poem, so we will write the poem, the name, the title of the poem in quotation mark. The road less travelled, it will be in quotation mark. Now come to the next one, that is the third one. Quotation marks are often used with technical terms or other expressions that vary from standard usage. Sometimes it is also used, it is also vary from standard usage. If there is, we are not going to use standard language, at that time we also use the quotation mark. Quotation marks are often used with technical terms. If there is any technical term, for that term we use the quotation mark, and other expressions that vary from standard usage. For example, in poetry, comma, the term alliteration. Alliteration is a term, it is a poetic term. So in poetry, comma, the term alliteration, alliteration is a term, that's why we will put it in quotation mark, in inverted comma. Alliteration refers to the repetition of beginning letters of words. If the beginning letters of the words are repeating, then it is called the alliteration. जो बिगिनिंग लेटर्स होते हैं वर्ड्स के, वो अगर बार बार रिपीट कर रहे हैं एक ही लाइन में, बार बार एक ही लेटर आ रहा है, हर वर्ड्स एक ही लेटर से शुरू हो रहा है, तो उसको हम अलिट्रेशन कहते हैं. सो अलिट्रेशन इज अ टर्म. फॉर अ टर्म वी यूज quotation mark. To show a term we use the quotation mark. So these are about quotation marks. Now this is the last topic of this chapter, capital letters. The first one is we capitalize the first word of sentence and the personal pronoun I. We know that whenever we start a sentence, we start the sentence by writing the first word in capital letter. We write the first word in capital letter of every sentence, and we also write the personal pronoun I in capital. We always write personal pronoun I in capital. For example, what should I do? What is the first letter of the sentence, that's why it will be started with capital, and I is personal pronoun, that's why we will write I in capital. Now come to the next one. The second one is we capitalize the first word in a direct quotation. If there is a direct quotation, if there is a quotation, if there is reported speech, direct speech, we write that we start that direct speech with capital letter. For example, here you can see he said comma. Now this is direct speech. In inverted comma, we start the writing the sentence with capital letter. You are honest. We start writing you with capital. Now come to the next one, that is we capitalize the names of people. As you know that we always write proper noun with capital letters. We always write proper noun in capital letters. For example, here you can say Sachin Tendulkar. This is the name of a person, that's why it will be in capital letter. Now come to the next one. Number 4, we capitalize the names of countries, races, languages and nationalities. We always write the names of the countries, names of races, names of, here you can say names of languages and nationalities with capital letter. For example, we can say India. This is the name of country. We can say Tamil. Tamil is a language, it is also a race. We can say French. French is a language, French is nationality, and it is also a race. So we will write the names of countries, races, languages and nationalities with capital letters. The fifth one, we capitalize the names of religions. If we are going to write the names of religion, we write the names of religion with capital letters. For example, Islam with capital letter, Buddhist with capital letter. So we write the names of religion with capital letter. Now come to the next one. We capitalize the names of months, days of week, but not seasons. We capitalize the name of months. We write the name of months with capital letter. We write the day of weeks with capital letter, but we don't write the seasons in capital letter. For example, we will write March is the month, Monday is the day of week. So we will write these words with capital letters, but we will not write the season with capital letter. For example, we will write summer in small letter, not with capital letter. We will not write the season with capital letter. Now come to the next one. We capitalize the names of organizations, clubs, historical events and period of time. If there are these kinds of words are there, we will write these words with capital letter for the names of organizations, clubs, historical events and periods of time. For example, here Rotary Club, it is the name of a club, that's why we will write with capital letter. Middle Ages, this is the time period, this is the periods of time, so we will write it with capital letter. The French Revolution, it is an historical event. French Revolution is the historical event, that's why we will write it with capital letters. Now come to the last one, that is we capitalize the title of movies, books, magazines, plays, newspapers and poems. If there are newspapers, books, names of poems, books, magazines, plays, movies, we write these things with capital letter. For example, here is Oliver Twist is the name of a book. So we will write it with capital letter. Hindustan Times, it is the name of a newspaper. So we will write it with capital letter. So these are the uses, these are the types of, you can say, punctuations. Now my class is over. Thank you. Have a nice day.